Alright, so what exactly is east here? Okay. So what do we got here? Hmm? Oh, there's two of them. Okay then. There was two of them. Hello everybody, welcome to Sjoher Reviews with me, Sjoher, but I pay for mobile games to check them out so you don't have to. So here on the channel we rate the games based on playability, zero microtransactions, length, design, and finally how fun it actually is. Today we're going to take a look at Dysmantle, a mix of Fallout meets Resident Evil kind of thing, where you are basically in a vault, but you run out of food, so you have to go to the servers to basically save yourself. Playability. This is where we rate the game based on how much you can play the game without the game constantly telling you what to do. And this game has a little bit of an intro about, how the controls work and all of that. So, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's just getting to know how the game works and all of that, and gradually gets more complicated and all of that. So there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm gonna have to take the controls a little bit into account here, because this is obviously a port from either a PC or a console over to a mobile device. And compared to how much you can actually do in this game, fitting all of that on a screen like that, yeah, it's a hot mess. So even though we don't talk about that until in the design phase, we have to tackle it here in playability, because this affects the playability of the game in such a great detail, because we have different sized fingers and some of the item boxes are just so small that you missed them. But more on that later. So in terms of playability, I'm gonna have to give it a 3, because even though the introduction is short and sweet and all of that, the fact that you can do so much on the screen, that you have to do so much on the screen with so little space, and your fingers are always in the way of what you're trying to achieve and all of that, I have to knock it down a bit. I just have to, I'm sorry. Zero microtransactions. This is where we take a look at the in-game store and or ads based on the amount we paid for the game. This is the highest I've ever paid for any mobile game so far, costing me €9.99, or $10.70 in American dollars. So this is by far the most expensive mobile game I've ever played. So I expect more out of it. But it doesn't have any microtransactions and it doesn't have any ads. So kudos to the devs for that. And that's an automatic 5, because we love that kind of games where you just pay for the game, that's it. Length. This is where to take a look at how long the game appears to be, or how much replayability you can get out of it. And it is quite clear that this game is massive in terms of content. It is huge, which is a problem for mobile devices. But in terms of content and what you can do in it and all of that, it has huge content. So I'm gonna give it 5 in the length department. But now we're gonna move on to the design department. This is where we take a look at the design of the game, user interface, background music, and all of that. okay, I really appreciate all of these systems, but I hate the controls on this. And what can I say? Where do I begin? Like I mentioned in the playability, especially like the menu options, they are so thin lines that your finger, if you're trying to press on a line somewhere, your finger sometimes just covers two lines, so it's really difficult to try and pick one instead of the other. And even though there is an option to make all of the buttons larger and all of that, which is fine, but it also has a side effect because that lowers where you can put your fingers on the screen to zoom in and out and to rotate the camera and all of that. So it is so obvious that this is a port from either PC or console ported over to a mobile device, and it just isn't working. It is amazing in terms of details and all of that, but whilst I was playing it, I could feel my phone heating up massively because it was on overdrive trying to run the game. This looks like kind of a game where you can port it over to mobile, but maybe it's not the best idea. I should try this on my iPad, but then it wouldn't be a mobile phone. Then it wouldn't be a mobile game, would it? Nah, probably not. You really need a high-end computer to be able to do this. I mean, I'm sure that this game is gonna be fantastic on a tablet device that has, you know, a bigger surface area for your fingers to touch, and in a lot of cases there's a bigger processor, certain bigger memory behind it and all of that. But on a mobile phone, and I mean, this is called a mobile review, so I have to take into account how this plays on a mobile device. And in terms of design, even though it is beautiful and all of that, on a mobile it just doesn't work. So in terms of design, I'm gonna have to give it a 2. And yeah, the only reason why it gets a 2 is because it is beautiful. The art is absolutely gorgeous compared to a mobile game, and the music is good. It could have been such a fantastic game, but the porting from PC or console over to mobile just isn't working. Fun. This is where we take a look at how much fun the game actually is. And I can imagine that this game is really fun. But again, I mean, when I was able to play the game consistently and all of that, it was a fun game. I'm not gonna lie. But I have issues because this is a port, such an obvious port from other device over to mobile, and even though I turned everything down in terms of quality and all of that, my phone was still struggling with it. So I can see the potential in this game. So I'm not going to say it's a bad and not enjoyable game, but at the same time, if you're trying to play it on a mobile phone, you better either have the newest and best phone out on the market, or you just pick it up on a tablet or a console or PC. And I'm sure that's going to be a whole lot different and more enjoyable experience than playing it on mobile. Plus, it is $10. It's $10 to play on mobile, so I do expect a lot of it, because this is, without a shadow of a doubt, this is the most expensive I've ever paid for a mobile game. so far. So I do expect it to be good. Fantastic even. And it's so sad because I can see how it can achieve those things, but they really have to think about the ports over to mobile a lot harder. So we're gonna give it a 3 in the fun department. And that's probably being a little bit too generous. But I'll still give it a 3. Overall score. Overall, this gets 18 out of 25 available, meaning that it gets a 3.6, which we're gonna round down to 3.5. I feel like it's generous rating it 3.5 considering the flaws of the game. But hey, because it scored so high in 0 microtransactions and the length, then yeah, it's benefiting from that. But overall, if you want my personal opinion, pick it up on PC if you can. That's probably gonna be a whole lot better. Anyways, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all of that nonsense. And I will see you in the next episode. Take care on. Bye-bye. I mean, I'm sure it's great on I mean, I'm sure it's great on like. Why have I forgotten what you are called? I remembered it just a minute ago. Not a laptop, a smaller version of a laptop. It's called. Tablet. Jeez. I had to look it up in Icelandic so I could translate it to English.